Good afternoon, boys and girls. We're on lesson 82, which is greatest common factor, or GCF for short. Your objective for today is to find the greatest common factor of two numbers, and we are also going to use the greatest common factor to reduce a fraction. So here's our vocab for today. Greatest common factor, which is the largest number that is a factor of two numbers. Sorry, it's a little out of order, but go ahead and write that down. And let's go see what our joke is for the day. Who invented fractions? And that is King Henry VIII. All right. Here's our concept. All right. So the greatest common factor of a number is basically what you do is you take two numbers. Like for example, we're going to take the number 12 and the number 18. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay out all their factors, all right? And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 for 12, and then the factors of 18 are 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Now, if you remember, a factor is something that you multiply together in order to get this number. So we multiply 1 and 12 to get the number 12, or we can multiply 2 and 6 to get the number 6. And what I've done for you is I've highlighted the factors of both 12 and 18 that are the same. All right, so they have 1 and 2 that are common, 3 and 6 that are common. All right, now they have other numbers that are factors but are not common between 12 and 18. And so those ones I didn't highlight in pink. And so what I did, or what you are going to do, is you got to figure out, okay, the greatest common factor between these two numbers is 6. Okay, so that we know that 6 can go into 18 and 6 can also go into 12. All right, so that is our greatest common factor is 6. So in example number 1, we're going to find the factors, the greatest common factor of 8 and 20. All right, and so what you're going to do first is you're going to list off all the factors of 8. All right, so 1 times 8 equals 8, and 2 times 4 equals 8. So these are our factors for 8 right here. And then we're going to list out our factors of 20. Okay, 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20 are our factors. Okay, and so we circle the ones that they have in common, right? 1 and 2 are common, and also 4 is common between the two. Now, 8 is not a factor of 20, so 8 is not our greatest common factor. The only factor that we have in common, and that's the biggest between the two, is 4. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use the greatest common factor of 8 and 20 to reduce 8 over 20. All right? So what we're going to do is we saw in our last example that 4 is the greatest common factor between the two. So what we're going to do here is we're going to divide both 8 and 20 by 4. Remember, when you divide 4 over 4, that's just like dividing by 1. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Okay, let's get back to our Prezi. Where are we? Oh goodness gracious. Technical difficulty. All right. Sorry, my phone is linked to my computer. Anyhow, let's get back to our greatest common factor. Rats. There you go. So 8 divided by 4 equals 2, and then 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So when we reduce this fraction, 8 over 20, 2/5 is the same fraction, but it is just reduced, okay? And that's how we use the greatest common factor to reduce fractions. So here's our lesson for today. We need to figure out what the greatest common factor is for 8 through F. And then for G, H, and I, you use the greatest common factor between these two numbers and then reduce the fraction. So the greatest common factor between 6 and 9 is 3. So I'm going to divide 6 by 3 and then 9 by 3 and then have my new reduced fraction. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to answer these questions or write those questions on the back so you remember them when you meet with your teacher. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.